Did you hear about Von Miller's injury? He could be back in 3 months, they're saying. He tore his peroneal tendon, which is on his foot. It connects from his ankle to his pinky toe. There's two of them. One goes ankle, pinky toe. One goes down the middle of the foot. It stabilizes your foot and your ankle. I guess that tore on the last play of practice. It says it's in shells, which I wondered if they were in shoulder pads. They were not. They were in like skeleton, which was their shells, I guess, is just in skeleton. So he's not even in pads. Probably a walkthrough. Tears that tendon. He's out 3 months. This dude beat COVID a couple months ago. They said he was on a warpath in practice. Not that I assume he ever isn't. But, man, that's a bummer for the Broncos out there.
Well, he comes back in 3 months if it's absolute best case scenario, right?
Yeah,
like
if
they're hoping he can find a way to make it back in 3 months. And if you can have Von Miller at 60%, I'll take him back in 3 months. But yeah, what just unlucky. I mean, this is one of the. Are people going to debate now? Oh, is this because of COVID and no preseason games? Like, is that been going on?
Raises a good question.
COVID hurt.
Did Von Miller get COVID twice now? Because it got him once, and then it got him again with the peroneal thing.
Snapped his leg.
Hey, good question, man. That's a really good question. We got to send that into the smart people to see if they can tell us. Yeah, CDC maybe. Well, I mean,
anymore.
Who knows?
Even if they,
who knows that?
research.
Von Miller going out. I saw your video last night. This has to be devastating for Denver Broncos fans because Drew Lock seems like he's a good player. Like, hey, everything that you could potentially want. Now, granted, Chiefs are going to be tough for a long, long time, but it felt like the team was striving, and Von felt like he was back to what you were saying yesterday. This is tough. 3 days before the season starts?
Yeah, really tough. And I think when you look at the way they're built, they're constructed, they've spent more money on the defensive side of the ball than any team in the National Football League. And so what they're trying to do is support their young quarterback by playing great defense, and then they invested on the offensive side of the ball throughout the draft. And that's how they're trying to build this football team. But you have to understand that when you have a great defensive player as offensive players, one of the things you always do, you break the huddle, you have to have a plan to mitigate that guy because that guy can absolutely wreck your game plan. So when you break the huddle, the first thing you do as an offensive player is you go break, and then you turn around and go, where's 58, and how are we going to contend with 58? And so ultimately what ends up happening to you is you say, okay, we can't run X number of plays. Let's say we got to take 20% of our offense, and we just got to scrap pile it. We can't run it because we're not good enough to be one-on-one with 58 at any particular time. And so then the domino effect kicks in. Well, if we're double teaming over there, we can't double team a Bradley Chubb or a Jarrell Casey or some of the other guys, a Shelby Harris. So it gives you one-on-one matchups other places where you have to win. And you may not have a great player over there where you have to win, but you have to take care of that aspect of it. So certainly, if we were applying baseball terms like WAR, wins against replacement, what's Von worth? Is he worth a game? Is he worth 2 games? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've got to say it's somewhere between a game and a half and 2 games that Von that Von essentially gives you, that he's better than his replacement, over his replacement.